Our story is one of those that really starts off in I would say, somewhat of a normal way. Tara and I met in a small town in Kentucky growing up, and we knew each other actually in church, and we first started dating when I was in college and she was in high school.
I was a senior in high school. I grew up without a dad who knew the Lord, and so when I saw David's family living out life where both of his parents were in church, his sister and brother-in-law were in church, I was always drawn to their family. And then I remember meeting him thinking, oh yeah, he's pretty cute.
Well, and I'm way less complicated than that. I just thought, she looks good, I want to go out with her. We go on our first date, and I thought, this is the girl I'm going to marry.
So we got married 3.5 years after we started dating, and David took a job, and he worked really, really hard in his position, and really quickly was promoted all the way up to where he was the chief operating officer of a big corporation in town before he was 30.
And I was solely pursuing, how can I retire at, say, age 35?
But while he was doing that and jetting all over the country and acquiring businesses, I was at home with 2 colicky babies and had left my nursing career to be a stay-at-home mom. And I just wanted him to be home and be present and be a husband and be a father. And because he was busy climbing the corporate ladder, I became really bitter and angry, and I was a terrible wife.
So during that time, I'm pursuing the world. I want to retire early. I want to achieve a certain status. We're living disjointed lives. And through the grace of the Lord, through God interrupting us through small groups at church, she gets involved in Bible study, and I get involved in a men's ministry. And it was through small groups and other men in our church that were asking me tough questions that the Lord really used to begin to interrupt my way of thinking, to interrupt that this is not the life that He has intended for us to live.
So in my Bible study group, the girls that were in there kept me aside after our class one night and said, we've been praying for you and David, and we feel like we know what the problem is in your marriage. And I thought, well, I know what the problem is in our marriage, it's him. And they said, we really feel like the problem is you. And I can remember being so wounded by that. But it was so true. I was not being the wife that the Lord had called me to be. And they walked alongside me for 1.5 years to help me understand what my role was to be as a wife, that even if David never changed, that didn't change what the Lord had called me to be.
Through relationships at the local church, through our brothers and sisters there, to ask the convicting questions that really led us to the point of a crisis of belief, to say, God, we're going to trust you and step away from this career into the path that you want us to be on. And it's been amazing since.
And I think back to where we would have been, and if the Lord had not interrupted our lives, we would not be married. We would still have our 2 kids, and now we have 6 children, 3 of whom were adopted. And our family is incredible, and I'm so grateful for what the Lord has done in our lives.
So God's interruptions are always best. They're at times painful, and they cause us to go through difficulty, but it puts us on a path that we know Him in a deeper way, that our lives are changed, and we're forever grateful for people in church just like you and I, who were asking tough questions at a time that was so critical, that saved our marriage, saved our family, and has forever altered our